Hello everyone, my name is Dylan and welcome to a brand new video. If you are new here, hi there. I post fun and entertaining English lessons every single Friday. So today I'm going to be showing you some real, everyday British English. Yes, I'm just going to be sitting here and talking to you about random things for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm not too sure how long this video is going to be. All you need to do is sit back, listen, and try your absolute hardest to enjoy. I will be letting you know what it is like going to school in the UK, what a typical night out in Britain is, the difference in culture/mindset between the UK and America, and much more. So this video will not only be good for helping you to improve your listening, reading and pronunciation skills, but I'm also going to be teaching you some of the everyday expressions and vocabulary that I used whilst I was rambling on. So if you see something pop up on the screen, that means that it will be explained at the end of the video in a free PDF. The link is in the top comment. You don't need to sign up to anything, just hit the link and press download. I will also include the full transcript from today's video, which you can see here. This is the transcript, and it just means that you can read along with me. Finally, if you would like to listen on the go, why not follow my Spotify? The link is in the top comment, and I post weekly videos there as well. Right, guys, let's do this. Very quickly, before we get started, I also teach private one-to-one lessons online. So if you wish to improve your British English listening, speaking, accent, or vocabulary in a fun, unique, and interactive way, you can do so with my personal and private support. I also teach group classes, and we have 2 this Sunday. The link is in the top comment. Finally, I have also recently started a newsletter where you can sign up to receive worksheets, PDFs, and exclusive videos and offers. The link is in the top comment, and as soon as you sign up, you will receive an exclusive video. It will be sent right to your inbox, and it's a good one. Right, guys, thanks for listening. Okay, so I'm going to start by talking about what school is actually like in the UK. And this comes from my 14 years of personal experience. 14 years. Wow. Anyway, I've broken this topic down into a few different categories, and we're going to start with the school structure and stages. So we have 2 main types of school in the UK. We have primary school, which you would typically attend between the ages of 4 and 11. And we have secondary school, which you would typically attend between the ages of 11 and 16. After that, we have sixth forms and colleges, which you would normally go to between the ages of 16 and 18, and there is a slight difference here. In sixth forms, you study for A-levels, which are qualifications you need to get into university, and besides that, are completely useless. Whilst you can do your A-levels at college, they also offer a broader range of courses, and these are normally designed to get you into the workplace. So for example, you could train to be an accountant or a plumber and many other professions as well. Finally, you have university, which you would normally go to between the ages of 18 and 21. However, this can vary quite a lot as there are quite a few older students there as well. Now, let's look at a typical school day. So this is just from my personal experience. Now, this was quite a while ago, so I will be doing my absolute best to remember what it was actually like. You start at 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 till 9:10 you have form time. And form time is where you sit in a classroom with your form, and that is something I will explain later. And you do nothing until school actually starts. So yes, it really is as pointless as it sounds. However, I guess it is a nice chill start to the day. Between 9:10 to 11:15, you have 2 one-hour classes with a 5-minute break in between. Between 11:15 and 11:30, you have a 15-minute break. 15 minutes of freedom, kind of. I would normally go to the sandwich room, which was a room that sold sandwiches, very creative name indeed, eat some food, and of course have some banter with the boys. Between 11:30 and 12:30, you would have another 1 hour lesson, and then finally 12:30 to 1:30, lunch. Now this was a truly heavenly hour of the day. Here I would do one thing. Footy with the boys. I mean, I would also eat, I guess, but it was mainly about the footy. If you didn't want to play football, you would just talk. I guess the kids these days, bloody kids these days, are going to be sat on their phones, but that wasn't really as common back in my day. And between 1:30 to 3:35, you would have your final classes of the day, which would be 2 1-hour classes, of course, with that 5-minute break in between. And at 3:35, you would get to go home. Yeah, home time. Honestly, now that I think about it, 5 hours of lessons with an hour break in the middle isn't actually that bad. I think I was complaining a bit too much. Anyway, we occasionally had morning assemblies instead of form time, where they would speak to us about various fascinating and important topics such as school events, school announcements, school clubs. They would sometimes give motivational speeches as well, just to get you fired up for the day ahead. And this is pretty much what it looked like. So we would have someone up on the stage, normally a teacher, talking to a group of uninterested students, all sat in uncomfortable blue chairs, just waiting for this whole ordeal to be finished. Right then, let's look at the curriculum and subjects. So we did have a few compulsory subjects. If something's compulsory, it means you have to do it. And you would study these between the ages of 12 and 16, and this would change a little bit as you get older. I will explain in a minute. Anyway, the compulsory subjects in my school, I think this is fairly standard, are English, maths, science, history, geography, art, music, language. So you can choose between German and Spanish. If you're wondering, I did Spanish, and no, I don't remember anything. So yeah, it's really useful. And PE, which is physical education, which is, of course, the best subject. You just run around a field for 2 hours. Very enjoyable, especially when you were a kid. After 16, as mentioned, this is when you start your A-levels, which, as mentioned, you kind of need for university, and other than that are completely useless. And this is when you would narrow it down to 3 to 4 subjects that you would want to continue studying. If you're wondering, I did maths, English literature, business, and economics. And then I dropped maths after 2 weeks as it was really hard and I hadn't done the homework for the lesson. In it, this was pretty much me, stood outside the maths room, about to drop it. Uniform and dress codes. So the school uniform is, you can see it right here. The standard school uniform includes a shirt, a tie, a blazer, which is the jacket thing. It normally has a badge of the school's badge on the chest. And it's kind of like a suit. The girls would wear the same thing, except they would normally wear a skirt instead of trousers. So as mentioned, this is pretty standard. At college, I think you can just wear your normal clothes. And at sixth form, you still wear a uniform, but in fairness, it is normally a slightly nicer uniform. About 3 times a year, I'd say, we also have these things called non-school uniform days, which once again has a very creative name. And as you can probably guess, as I hope you can guess, this is a day where you don't have to wear your school uniform. It was very, very exciting. You normally have to make a £1 donation to a charity, but it means you can show off your sick drip. So, it was money well spent. Now, let's look at extracurricular activities, clubs and societies. So most schools in the UK have a wide range of different clubs you can join, and the school I attended was no exception. So we had a chess club, we had a football club, we had a rugby club, we had a tennis club, we had a cooking club, we had a badminton club, we had a Spanish club, and there were many more options as well. So, a wide range of positive ways to spend your free time. Perfect. But I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't a member of any clubs. I know, I just couldn't be bothered to do things like that when I was younger. I used to be pretty unambitious and pretty lazy as well, to be honest. Oh, actually, I did do a bit of chess. So, if anyone wants a game, bring it on. Okay, school culture and environment. House system. So if you've ever seen the film Harry Potter, you will know that the school is divided into different houses or sections. So we have Gryffindor, we have Ravenclaw, we have Slytherin, and for some reason we have Hufflepuff. Now, this is actually what we do in the UK, except, with less magic. And the school I went to had about 6 different houses. And these houses they're basically just different groups. So what do these groups mean? Well, during the form time that I mentioned earlier, you will be in a class with the people in your house or your form. When we do school sporting events, your team is made up of the people in your house and you compete against the other houses. For instance, we have house chess, house football, house rugby. And this is kind of like how Quidditch is played against the different houses. We've got Gryffindor versus Slytherin in the house Quidditch. And that is the last Harry Potter reference I'm going to make during this video. I think so anyway. Right, from what I remember, you don't actually have your classes with people in your form. I'm pretty sure it all gets mixed up, as that gives you the chance to actually meet other people in the school. Okay? Behavior and discipline. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that I don't really know about this part of the education system, as I've always been an absolutely perfect student. Nice. However, I have heard from less perfect people that apparently they have these things called detention? I think that's how I've never seen that word before in my life, so I'm not too sure. Anyway, apparently you can have a lunchtime detention, an after school detention, or even a Saturday morning detention. And from what I've heard, of course I don't know, you don't do much. You just sit there in an empty classroom or in a classroom with the other people that also have detention and you read. So yeah, it's not like on The Simpsons where you stand in front of a blackboard writing funny lines. Yeah. Right, guys, now that you know a bit about the British educational system, it's time to celebrate with a night out. Lucky you, lucky you. So let me start with an overview. So, your options for a night out in the UK are pubs, bars, cocktail lounges, house parties, public drinking, clubs, and live events. Right, let's start with the classic, the public house, or the pub as it's otherwise known. The classic British pub. Now these are everywhere. I have put a little asterisk here because apparently a lot of the pubs are closing down. People in the UK are drinking less in general, and also they're just choosing to drink at home instead. However, they are still pretty common, so don't worry just yet. They don't normally have music. If they do, it's quite quiet music. And they normally have weird but distinctive names. So, for example, the Badger and Bull, or the Fox and the Chicken. I have just made those up, but I'm pretty sure that those 2 pubs exist somewhere in the UK. Now, these are some real pubs. We have the White Lion and the Old Ferry Boat Inn. So, as you'll notice, a lot of these names will begin with the. And I think it's common that it will be the something and something. Anyway, they all smell the same as well. So I'm going to try my hardest to describe what a British pub smells like. So let's go in, shall we? So you normally go in through the door. There's a door here. You don't tend to go in through the window, but I've seen it happen. So you go through the door and this is what you're greeted with. So it's very cozy, nice ambience. You'll see a couple of geezers sat there drinking some beer. And yeah, just normally some weird things on the wall just to add a bit more character. So, right. So what is this smell then that you're gonna experience? It's quite hard to describe it. It's very distinctive, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you have been to a British pub before. It's kind of like a mix of stale beer, non-stale beer, furniture, and like cleaning products as well. It's kind of like a musty, woody almost scent, with a strong tinge of beer. It's oddly comforting though, to be honest with you. I hope that doesn't sound weird, but yeah. So what happens then? Well, you walk in, you get a pint, potentially a packet of crisps as well. You sit down at a table with the boys and drink. Of course, I've highlighted the boys because this is just my personal experience, but you can do the exact same thing if you're female as well. Now, if that isn't enough, most pubs also have TVs where they will show live sporting events, which for the record is a great way to fill a pub, show a bit of footy. The British people will flock towards you. There's pool tables and dartboards and even fruit machines as well. So I found this image here. It's a good one because it shows the pool table and the dartboard as well. Now, occasionally there is food or pub grub, as it's known. Grub just means food. And this includes such fine dishes as curries, fish and chips, of course we have this here, and bangers and mash, all that good stuff. So bangers is another word for sausages, and mash means mashed potatoes, which is here. And these are peas, by the way, and this is gravy. And we have peas. We have a lot of peas in the UK, yeah. And these chips are just another form of mashed potatoes, so you may be noticing a theme here. Right, so pretty much anything that is hot, salty, and greasy, which is of course exactly what you need and deserve after a long, hard day of sitting on your ass and drinking beer. Yeah. Bars and cocktail lounges. Now these are a bit more expensive, so they tend to attract a bit of an older crowd, and dare I say, maybe a more sophisticated crowd. You know, you can get fancy cocktails here. These places normally have quite a trendy atmosphere. You know, they might be quite dark, maybe some music playing, and drinks are quite expensive. They're about 10 to 15 pounds. But yeah, so I've put two of my favorite cocktails on the screen. Here we have an old fashioned, which I really like. I'm not too sure what's in it, but it's whiskey mixed with some sort of orange flavor. And of course we have an espresso martini. Now these are just delicious. They taste so good. That is if you like coffee. They're full of caffeine and alcohol, so you know they're not ideal to be drinking at night time if you plan on going home anytime soon. However, if you are committing to a big night out, this can be the pick-me-up that you need. So if you ever see me out, you know what to get for me. House parties. Now, as the name suggests, these are parties thrown in someone's house. By the way, if you throw a party, it just means that you host a party, you have a party. Now, these are really fun, but they don't really happen that often anymore. I personally haven't been to a house party in about 8 years. People normally stop having these after the age of 18 because that is when you can go out to bars and clubs instead. You can expect music, of course, because it's someone's house. You can play what you want. You know, you can ask to play a song. If the host is feeling particularly gracious and generous, they will also provide alcohol. Although, to be honest, this isn't that common, especially when you're a bit younger. So it's normally BYOB, which is bring your own booze. Now, the drinking age in the UK is 18, as I've mentioned here. And we take that very seriously. I don't think anyone in the UK has ever drunk underage before. So they don't really have food. The focus is mainly on drinking. And this is actually true for the whole of the UK culture. You know, when we go out drinking, it's all about drinking. I know in some other countries, maybe most other countries, they like to mix the food with the drink. You know, it's kind of like the experience that you have together. But not here, you know, apart from the nutritious pub grub, of course, when you are 5 beers deep. I guess that is our version of mixing food with drink. Nightclubs, out. So if you've heard this expression, out before, well, you might, I don't know, this does confuse a lot of people. I'll explain what it means shortly. But yeah, nightclubs. These are pretty similar in the UK to everywhere else in the world. You know, they're loud, sticky, overpriced, and in general, just awful. Now, this is a funny photo right here. So let me explain this one. In the UK, in the clubs, there is normally someone who goes around with a camera taking photos of the customers. And they do this to post on social media, and basically they use it to promote the clubs, like, look how much fun everyone's having, you should come down to this event. And this is just a really funny photo. So this, here we have two gentlemen. They look quite young. I'm guessing they've just turned 18. They're drinking their Alco Pop, which is basically like Fanta. It's like a soft drink, but it's got a bit of alcohol in, so yeah, it's like it's what someone like this would probably drink, someone that's quite young. And the photo is just really funny because, when you're taking a photo of someone, you might put your arm around them. This is what this gentleman on the left has done, obviously forgetting that he's got a full bottle of alcohol. So it's just perfectly spilt out the bottle, narrowly avoiding this man's blue shirt. It's just such a good photo, and they both look a little bit worse for wear, but this is what it's all about. So yeah, I'm not hating at all. This is just quite a funny photo. This is a bit of a meme in the UK. You'll see this on social media. I don't know these guys, unfortunately. Right. We also have public drinking. I would be remiss if I didn't discuss public drinking with you, as this is quite a big part of the UK culture. This is as simple as it sounds. Some people will go to a beach or a park and drink some alcohol. And this is a photo. I'm showing you quite a nice photo here. It's not always like this, but we have a group of friends in a nice park. It is very British weather right there, so maybe this was actually taking place in the UK. Anyway, this guy's wearing a hat. This guy's wearing a shirt, so they're nice, reputable humans. And they're drinking some champagne or Prosecco, something like that. Now, I was a bit confused by this because they seem to have some donuts here, and that might be a slice of pizza. Pizza and donuts. What country does that remind you of? I don't think it's the UK. It might be our neighbours over the sea, America. So I'm not too sure if this is actually in the UK. However, the weather does suggest that it might be. Anyway, this is just a nice photo of public drinking. As mentioned, it's not always like this. Live music venues. Now, I never really got into these, but a lot of my friends went to these events. And you basically, you buy a ticket, you turn up to some bar or pub or club, and you watch a band or a musician that you like. Okay. Right, guys, allow me to tell you a bit about a typical night out in the UK. Now, this is from my experience of going out between the age of 18 and 21. It's been a while, but it's still part of the culture. A lot of people still do this, so it's important that you know about this. Right, so it all begins with the pre-drinks. This would normally take place between 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Every good night out starts with pre-drinks. And pre-drinks are basically when you go round to one of your friends' houses and you drink together before, going out to drink together. Yeah. Honestly, though, this is normally the best part of the night because you have the anticipation of what is to come. You are with all your friends, there's no other people around. It's just the people who were invited to the drinks. You can play whatever music you like. It's normally the best part of the night, to be honest with you. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking that. Right. And then you can go out. And this is normally between 11 and 3 a.m. So let me explain this. Out and out. So going out and going out are two different things entirely. If you go out, that normally means that you're going to a bar or a club. So you're really committing to a night out full of alcohol and quite possibly regrettable decisions. However, if you go out, this is a bit more casual. You might go to a pub or a restaurant or even a cinema, so there is quite a big difference. But we're going to assume you're going out. Anyway, here you would all pile into a taxi and prepare for the most underwhelming night of your life. Now it's 3 a.m. and it's time to go home, but not before a healthy, delicious, nutritious kebab. As I'm saying this, I realise that the UK does actually mix food and drink together. We just do it slightly differently. So this is how we do it. So before drinking, we have a hot, greasy, salty meal. During, we'll have lots of alcohol. After, we'll have a hot, greasy, salty meal. Normally a kebab. And this is the type of place, the type of establishment where you would get your kebab from, Kebab and Burger House. Right, I've got nothing against kebabs whatsoever. I know that they're quite popular in countries such as Turkey and Iran. But the type of kebab you get here at 3 a.m. in one of these shops, it's different. It's not the most hygienic. It's a completely different dish. So honestly, I don't even want to show you a picture of these things. Sometimes it's got to be done, though. I'm not judging anyone. I've been there many times. Sometimes it's got to be done. Right, we also have these things called pub crawls. Pub crawls are very common in the UK. You basically start at a random pub, normally quite early in the day, so somewhere between 12 and 3 p.m. You have one drink in that pub before moving on to another pub. You'll have one drink there, and then you'll move on to another pub and you'll have one drink there, and so on and so on and so on. People often dress up for these things as well. So we have some young men, some very young men, probably, okay, I don't know if they're 18, but all right, whatever. As mentioned, no one drinks underage in the UK, so they must be 18. And they're dressed up as cowboys or knights or something like that. And yeah, we have some women here. And this seems to be like a Disney theme or something. So in the UK, if you go out at about 5 p.m. on a Saturday, it's not uncommon to see a group of locals dressed up, a little bit drunk, walking around, being loud and going from pub to pub. It's part of the culture. Anyway, we have student nights. I'm talking about university student nights, not school student nights, because as mentioned, no one drinks underage in the UK. Now, these are cheap and cheerful. You can expect terrible clubs, affordable booze, and some sort of promotion or theme to the night. So it might be Monday Night Fever or Fishy Tuesdays or, Wonky Wednesdays. And I'm sorry to keep bringing these gentlemen up, but this is the type of clientele you will see on a student night. And honestly, as mentioned, we've all been there. We've all been there. All right, so popular drinks include beer, of course, cider, not really a fan of personally, wine, vodka Coke, whiskey Coke, rum and Coke, gin lemonade, rum, just rum, I guess. Vodka lemonade and rum lemonade. I think that's meant to say rum and Coke. No, we've got rum and Coke here. Maybe just rum. Okay, or whatever. So basically, it's one disgusting alcoholic drink mixed with one sweet, sugary drink in order to mask the taste. Now, I am kind of joking here because we have, gin and tonic and a whiskey Coke. And these are both very valid drinks. Now then, we have this guy here, water, because that is exactly what you need the day after one of these fun nights out. You need lots and lots of water. Good stuff. Now then, I think that is enough talking about alcohol, as I now wanted to discuss the differences between the culture and the mindset in the UK versus the USA. So a bit random, I know, but it's something that I have been thinking about lately. So as I'm sure you guys know, this topic is often spoken about, and you know the classic comparisons. We have the vocabulary, so soccer versus football, or potato chips versus crisps. We have the spelling, so collar versus color. We have the accent, so hey dudes, welcome back to another video. It is so awesome to have you guys here. Let's do this. Versus, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Speaking of videos, I did actually make a pretty good video about this whole topic and no one really watched it. I put a lot of effort into it. I think it's pretty good. There's a lot of jokes in there. I do my American accent a lot. It's a full guide to the UK versus the USA. I'll include the link in the top comment, so if you are interested in a bit more of a detailed approach to this subject, why not check it out? It's a good video. It's actually awesome. Anyway, I wanted to touch on a topic that isn't discussed as frequently, but it should be, as it is so glaringly obvious. I want to talk about the difference in mindset and attitude between the UK and America. So let's start by looking at the UK mindset. Right. Take the piss out of everything. If you don't know what take the piss means, by the way, it's something that you will hear quite a lot in this section. And if you take the piss out of something or someone, you make fun of it or them. You make jokes about them or it. So pessimistic, cold, not outgoing or friendly. And the reason I've highlighted this is because I don't really think this part is true. We may not be outgoing, we won't randomly talk to you on the street. However, we're not unfriendly. And I think that if you were to speak to one of us, you would know that this is in fact a myth. We're just quite reserved. And another thing is that we don't like to give too much praise. We don't like to say that anything is too good. No, we wouldn't dare say that. So you may have heard this expression, a stiff upper lip. And this just means that you don't show too many emotions, you're less expressive in your words or your actions. And for some reason, I'm not really too sure why, this phrase is quite often associated with British people. As mentioned, I just don't understand it. On the other hand, Americans are energetic, enthusiastic, expressive, loud, positive, and believe that anything is possible. I mean, just look at this photo, right, guys? You can feel the energy surging through the screen. And I've been thinking about the context behind this photo, and I think it's something so minor. They're probably at some sort of meeting. There is someone on the stage that probably mentioned the state that these guys are from, and they have just completely lost their minds. Like, whoa, Kansas, #1, yeah. They've got the flags out. They've got this. I mean, look how happy this woman looks. It's incredible. Honestly, in order to get this sort of reaction in the UK, something absolutely spectacular would have to happen. Like, the Queen would have to get resurrected in order for people to be 1/8 as excited as this. It's not happening. It's not happening. Right, let me give you an example. So I was in Kuala Lumpur last month, and I heard that the place I was staying in had a nice view of the city from the rooftop. So one morning I decided to check it out, and I got the lift up to the top floor. There was another guy with me in the lift, but we didn't really talk apart from the classic nod/alright combo. Alright. When we finally got to the roof, it looked really nice. I didn't actually take a photo. This is what it looked like, but this was taken on another day. So when we were looking at it together, the sun, it was in the morning, so the sun was rising. There was this beautiful golden glow spreading over the whole landscape. There was a nice gentle breeze. It was really pleasant. So I turned to the guy who was standing next to me, also admiring the view, and I said, "Not bad, is it?" And he said, "I know, man, it's absolutely beautiful. We're just so lucky to be here, man. It's awesome. It's just totally breathtaking, bro." And I thought, yeah, I just said that, mate. I swear I just said that. I said it's not bad. Is that not the same thing? And honestly, that is the equivalent. The British version of, yeah, it's so beautiful, blah, 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 is, it's not bad, is it? And that one interaction perfectly epitomizes the differences between the UK and the American outlook on life. Honestly, we give understated praise. And if something is understated, it means that it's subtle. And this is highlighted by another expression that I have taught you, and that is, it's not too shabby. And if something is shabby, it means it's bad. So we use this expression. We reserve this expression for when something really good has happened. We don't say it's amazing. We don't say it's brilliant. We say, yeah, it's not too bad, which is a huge compliment, believe me. Right, this ties in with the next subject, and this is the can-do attitude, the American dream. So Americans have this belief that they can do anything, sky's the limit. Anyone can be the president of America if you just set your mind to it. You're awesome, man. You got this, buddy. America is too great for small dreams. And for the record, I like this. I'm not even taking the piss. I think this is really good and positive and productive. And I think this is something that the UK is lacking. Because British people tend to be so much more cautious with their outlook on life. And this can result in some uninspiring situations, where if someone from the UK is overly enthusiastic about something and dares to try and think big and reach for the stars, people around them might take the piss a little bit. Or at least hit them with, a big slap of caution. But I don't want you to think that everyone in the UK hates each other and is negative and defeatist, because this simply isn't true. Some of the greatest entrepreneurs, musicians, authors, actors, athletes, and people all come from the UK. And this is the final Harry Potter reference, by the way. It's just we are intrinsically more cautious, which might not be a bad thing. I just don't like this underlying sense of pessimism that I kind of see in the UK and that I see in myself sometimes as well. So I'm trying to change. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not saying that everyone in the UK is really negative. It's just extremely cautious, which can feel a bit negative at times. Right, sense of humour. I'm going to be honest with you. Our sense of humour is so good. I might not be the best example of this, but I promise you, we are so much funnier than Americans. Right? Everyone says it. It is what it is. It is what it is. British humour is dry, sarcastic, subtle, self-depreciating, silly, and just really good. If you are interested in some British comedies, I would recommend shows such as Fawlty Towers, The In-Betweeners, Peep Show, and The Office, so the UK version of The Office. I'm sure you're familiar with The Office, the American one. Well, it actually started as a UK show. It was thought of by Ricky Gervais and another man who isn't actually in the picture here. And basically, people from the US saw it, they thought it was really good, so they paid this guy and the other man a lot of money, and then they basically bought the idea from them. And I don't actually mind the American Office, it's quite funny. I just think that this is better. So Fawlty Towers is an absolute classic. It's very old, and it's about a couple that run a hotel. It's good though, it's classic British humour. The In-Betweeners is so good. These are the In-Betweeners right here. And it's basically 4 teenagers and their experience of the UK educational system. And yeah, if you want to actually know what it's like to be a teenager in the UK, watch this show. We've got Peep Show, which is also really, really good. This is Peep Show right here. So it's 2 men just trying their best to live life in London. And I'd definitely recommend this one. And as mentioned, we have The Office as well, the UK version. Right, on the other hand, American humour is loud, in your face, over the top, and direct. Which some people like. There are some funny American films or movies and TV shows, but in my opinion, with my personal preference, I think the British is better. And I just wanted to quickly discuss the differences between American and British TV shows. As we have 2 of the adverts here. You know, we have an advert for The Big Bang Theory, which is an American comedy. And we have an advert for Peep Show, which is a British comedy. And look at the differences. The American one is so bright and crisp and clear. Everyone is smiling or pulling these, over the top expressions. Everyone is very well groomed and good looking. And then we have Peep Show. And this is just like what life is actually like. It's dull and dreary. They're just normal looking men wearing normal clothes, with 2 of the most British expressions I can ever possibly imagine. Just this look of like, just is good enough. Compare these 2 expressions right here to all of these expressions here. Is such a stark difference, and this really sums it all up. By the way, this show is about 1,000,000 times better than this one, if you're wondering. Right, social norms. In the UK, there tends to be a big focus on being polite and not offending anyone, and avoiding conflict as well. We love queuing, for example, and I've got this photo here, which is really good. So this is from an Ed Sheeran show, my brother, and this is from the O2. I'm not sure which O2, but yeah, let's just say, I don't know, London. And there are so many people here, as you can see. Basically, this is the entrance to the actual show, and this is the entrance to the arena. So people from here need to get to here. We have barriers, as you can see, and the barriers go, I think, it's kind of hard to see, but I think the barriers go from here to here to here to here to here to here. However, there are no barriers here, yet people are still queuing up as if there were barriers. So the queue starts here, and it goes like this, and this, and this, and this, and this comes from generations of queuing. Can you imagine in another country, respectfully, probably in America, if you had to get to here, and all of these people wanted to get there to watch their favorite musician, it wouldn't be like this. There would just be a massive horde of people all trying to squeeze through this one little entrance here. It would be very different indeed. Right, the USA, their loud confrontation is a lot less avoided. There is a big sense of individualism and personal expression. They are ridiculously confident, which is interesting. I'm not saying that British people aren't confident, by the way. I'm not saying we're all cowardly. It's just we're certainly not as outgoing. You know, you're taught to speak your mind and not care who it offends. You do you, buddy. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. America. Right, guys, and there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As mentioned, all of the useful words and expressions that popped up on the screen will be included in a free PDF. The link is in the top comment. You don't need to sign up to anything. Just hit the link and press download. And the transcript will be available there as well. All I ask in return is that if you did enjoy today's video, I don't know, why not consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even commenting down below. Honestly, it all makes a massive difference. Cool, thank you in advance for doing that. As mentioned, I do also teach private one-to-one lessons as well as group lessons, and we have a couple of those group lessons this Sunday. All of the information is available on my website and the link is in the top comment. I have also started a newsletter where you can get access to free English worksheets and exclusive videos and offers. Exclusive videos. And as soon as you sign up to the newsletter, you get an exclusive video sent right to your inbox. And it's actually a good video as well. So, you know, it's worth a try. And the link is in the top comment for that as well. Right, if you would like to stay in touch, I would recommend following my Instagram, which is BritishEducation_, or my Spotify, where all of my videos are posted and you can listen on the go. That is just British Education. And once again, the links will be in the top comment. As mentioned, I post new videos every Friday, so hopefully I will see you there. Cheers. Nice.